We got a long fight here. Iowa Fuego, hold up, Iowa Fuego. I think it might be bigger than the other one from the other day. That is a good one. Powerful, powerful fish.
Gentlemen, ladies, and anyone in between, I welcome you all, and today I want to show you something I feel shouldn't just be buried in the contents of an hour-long review consisting of half a dozen reels, because we all know not everybody makes it all the way to the end, and some things just never see the light of day. So what I'm going to show you now is going to be kind of a highlight, I guess you can say, and it involves two reels that really shouldn't be compared to one another, but what you're going to see is going to be pretty funny. So the review I'm going to be doing is going to consist of 6 reels, the Tsunami Shield, the Shimano Socorro SW, the Shimano Nasky, the Daiwa BG 4000, the Daiwa Fuego LT 2500, and the Penn Battle 2 4000. And these two reels here, the Fuego LT 2500 and the Penn Battle 2 4000, are going to be the two reels I'm going to compare right now. You can see the reel on the right. This is the Penn. This is the Daiwa on the left. The Penn weighs at around 13 ounces, 12.8 is what the box says. I haven't really weighed it separate from that. And the Daiwa comes in at around 7.5, I believe. Now, they're both 6.2 to 1 gear ratios. This is your drop shot size largemouth bass reel, stream smallmouth, trout size reel. This is your bayshore, inshore, nearshore striped bass, bluefish, speck and redfish size reel for down south. If you're a surf caster, you throw in bucktails, like 2-ounce plugs, swimmers, SP minnows, that kind of stuff. It's a perfect size reel for that. Now, again, two reels designed for two completely different things. I would not be chasing bluefish with this. This is a good size reel just for that purpose. And what I'm going to show you now are the spools of the two reels. You can see drastically different, although if you read the labels, this one says on the Daiwa 160 yards of 12-pound test mono, and this one says 165 yards of 12-pound test mono. So yeah, there's something wrong with that, but that's not what I'm here to show you. What I want to show you are the main gears of the two reels. This guy here is out of the Penn. Again, 6.2 to 1 gear ratio out of a reel that weighs 13 ounces or a hair under. And this reel here comes out of the little bitty 2500 Daiwa Fuego LT, and this reel weighs a little over 7 ounces. And if you put them side by side, I'm gonna knock that over, and I'm gonna let this kind of sink in a little bit. The gear on the left is out of the Daiwa that weighed 7.5 ounces. The gear on the right is out of the Penn. The Penn reel is a striped bass, bluefish, nearshore, inshore reel, and the Daiwa Fuego LT is a medium light duty freshwater sized body, and it just happens to pack an insanely huge main gear. And for 99 bucks, you get the mag seal, you get that fancy carbon plastic. It's not the Zion, it's not the Shimano CI4 Plus, although if you look closely, if it'll focus, you can see, come on, like somewhere in there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see the grain of that carbon composite a little bit. Let me see if I can get rid of that. It's not your flat black plastic. And it's a solid, it's not super flexy. It's better than what you would get out of a standard graphite reel. And again, that main gear is redonkulous. It is over 1 millimeter in diameter larger than the Penn. The gear teeth themselves are larger, which kind of lends itself to longer wearing gear life because you have a larger mating surface to interact with the pinion. And they are the same gear ratio. It's not like one's 5.2 and the other one's 6.2, and the larger one's going to give you a higher speed retrieve. And no, it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to really over-exaggerate anything. The only difference in the size is, yeah, maybe the Penn is a little bit thicker top to bottom, but the gear teeth are still larger on the Daiwa, physically larger. So let that sink in. Now, I've been pretty critical of Penn in the past, calling some of their more basic $100 ballpark range reels jokes, and that usually has to do with the line lay. And if you look here, This reel is no exception. You can see as it tapers to the top of the spool, it kind of goes in, and then there's like a little, like a gap. We just don't have a lot of line. Unfortunately, Penn just can't get line lay right. I mean, if you look at the Daiwa, that's the Daiwa. It's not perfect, but it is better than the Penn. This is the Daiwa BG. Once again, you can look at the top. It's clean at the top. And the reason why you don't want to have that gap where a line just doesn't pile up all the way to the top, you can see how it kind of goes in. When you make a cast, the line's flying off the spool, and it'll actually grab loose coils that are up against that kind of ramp that kind of goes inward, and it'll pull it off ahead of its turn, causing a wind knot. So that's why a lot of guys with Penns are going to tell you, oh, you got to underspool, you can't go up to the lip like you would with the Shimano, because Shimano's tend to lay line a little bit better. And that's line management. That's an issue that I've always seen with Penns. I've experienced it. I've had friends on boats go crazy and actually throw the reel in the water because they threw back-to-back wind knots. And they were throwing like bucktails and storm shads. It wasn't like they were reeling in pencil poppers and reeling in slack line. So with all that being said, I feel as though that should be broken out separately. I just wanted to show you the two gears because that's some pretty funny stuff. A reel, again, almost half the size. Not quite. I'm not trying to over-embellish anything. You know me. I'm not trying to bullshit anybody. Just calling it like I see it. So for 99 bucks, Fuego, 99 bucks, Battle 2, much larger reel, physically larger in the Battle 2 than you get out of the Fuego. And the Fuego's gear is physically larger. Imagine that. That's pretty funny. And again, I don't want to be an advertisement for Daiwa, but it just seems that 2017, 2018, they're really kicking butt. They really are. They're coming out with some good stuff. And I haven't really been a big Daiwa, spinning reel guy. I've been gravitating to Shimano for most of my egg beaters, from Stellas and all that kind of stuff, bait runners, Stunnesses, the Ultegras, the long cast reels. I've always been a Shimano spinning guy, and I'm really starting to dig some of these Daiwas are coming out with. The light and tough, that's what makes a reel tough. That's a hell of a main gear. And again, it's cast zinc. It's not some magic metal. It's not bronze, brass, aluminum, stainless, or anything like that. It's just your standard run-of-the-mill zinc, but it's a nice looking gear. It's a quality cast, and it looks like there's some machining marks on it. I guess on the back end, I don't want to assume anything. I'm not a metallurgist. I'm not a machinist. I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell if something is, machine versus whatever without seeing machine marks. I do somewhat see some marks here, but I don't know if they're machining marks. If you guys are out there and you know firsthand, here's a close look at it. And again, this reel is virtually brand new. It's only been fished a handful of times, so there's not going to be much wear. Nice little gear for a $100 reel. Daiwa's doing pretty well in that regards. And this is the main gear out of the Shimano 5000 Nasky, which is a hair larger than that of the Daiwa Fuego LT 2500. Yeah, it's thicker. It's a composite gear. It's got what appears to be, again, cast zinc on the back, and it has the forged aluminum portion that is bonded in a way to that. So that's why I have all that mess going on back there. But everything else here is zinc, and it's a hex shaft. It's not a thread-on. And if we compare the Daiwa BG 4000 to that of the Penn, hold on a second, just for an effect. This is the main gear of the Daiwa BG 4000 compared to that of the 4000 and the Penn Battle 2. It's not even in the same ballpark. I mean, it is quite literally, I don't want to say double, because that kind of sounds like I'm over-exaggerating things, but it's much, much larger. But it's a 15-ounce reel or a 14-ounce reel versus a 13-ounce reel. So it's a little bit larger. But again, who you going with? $100. And that's all I have to say about that. Stay tuned for the full review. Make sure you check it out. And if you are new to my channel, check out some of the other stuff I've put out. I think you'll find that I do stuff quite a bit differently. And until next time, guys, thank you very much. Without you, I would not be here. Tight lines, and I'll see you soon.